All right, let's settle in because we're diving deep once more.
Yeah, chapter 3.
We've reached chapter 3, and wow, it feels like a whole new stage for High.
Definitely. A different rhythm sets in.
Our mission today is really exploring Ocean Vuong's style here.
Mm.
It's so gentle, so observant,
Mm-hmm.
how he uses these details as quiet poetry to look at something incredibly complex, like caregiving for someone with memory loss.
And how connection still finds a way, even in the routine.
Exactly. We're going to see how beauty, how that human connection just emerges.
And this chapter really shows Hai settling into caring for Grazina. It's this constant back and forth,
Between what?
between the repetitive tasks, the everyday stuff of caregiving, and then these sudden confusing moments because of her dementia.
Right.
But underneath it all, there's this deep, often unspoken connection.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Vuong's writing, it's fascinating. You get these almost clinical details,
Yeah, very precise.
but layered with so much emotion, like
Yeah.
sorting the medication, he names them. Aricept, gabapentin.
For her brains, yeah, for cognition, and the gabapentin for nerve pain. Specifics.
But then immediately you see the chaos. Pharmacy bags, crumpled receipts, melted cough drops.
Empty bottles next to full ones in the trough. That mix.
It's that necessary precision crashing right into total disarray.
And that blend, structure, and chaos. It's such a powerful look into dementia care, isn't it?
It really is.
You need these rigid systems, sure, for safety, but you're working against this backdrop of cognitive, breakdown.
Yeah.
The text even uses that analogy, the mind like an etch-a-sketch.
Oh, right. One shake and it's gone.
Or worse, it just starts drawing its own picture, its own reality. It really shows that constant, quiet struggle under the surface.
And so much of their shared world is built from these small, repeated moments.
Like watching TV.
Yeah. Grazina thinking the office is the news.
Or suddenly naming fancy furniture during the Price is Right.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling these names from a past Hai never knew.
And the meals, too. The Stoffer's Salisbury steak, High's Pop-Tarts.
Untoasted, dipped in instant coffee.
Yeah. These aren't just descriptions, right? They reveal history connection being built in these shared habits.
And that's where Vuong finds so much tenderness. Even that simple question Hai asks.
Who's the president?
Yeah, just to gauge where she is. But it's so poignant because he used to ask his grandmother the same thing.
Oh, wow.
It links his past caregiving right to this moment. Shows how these roles echo.
But then there are really challenging moments.
Yeah.
Like that storm night.
Mm-hmm. Intense.
Grazina is distressed, screaming. Hai tries to calm her, physically comforting her, covering her breast.
And then he sings.
Sings that Vietnamese folk song. And that detail, oh, it's heartbreaking. She sees her brother Christoph trapped in the desk.
That scene just highlights these deep, emotional, almost spiritual battles fought silently in caregiving.
Yeah.
Survival, like the text says, takes grace, presence, and a willingness to observe when you feel like disappearing.
Wow.
High singing, it goes beyond logic. It's this powerful connection across generations, across realities, reaching her when words just can't.
It shows care isn't always rational. Sometimes it's intuitive, rooted in feeling.
Exactly.
After that, the story sort of moves outward. Hai finds a dilaudid bottle.
Hints of other struggles.
And realizes he needs work. His trip into town feels like seeking something else, a break maybe.
And we get those details of the strip mall.
Home Market, Family Dollar, old NSYNC posters, the nitpicker store. It grounds it.
It does, in this specific kind of faded reality. But even there, Vuong finds these little moments of tenderness.
Like what?
Like the thought of a child growing up near the glow of the Family Dollar sign. Small beauties in overlooked places.
And that trip leads him to Sony, his cousin, at the Home Market.
An unexpected reunion.
We learned about Sony's scar, his name from a TV.
A Sony Trinitron, yeah. And his mom's in jail. They talk about family risks.
And Sony saying he has no skills or personality. Just brutal.
But contrasted with that lovely detail, he makes origami penguins for the tables.
Right. And Hai gives him the baby carrots Grazina packed. Tells him they give courage.
It adds another layer, doesn't it? Family, connection, vulnerability showing up in these quiet ways.
Like the penguins.
And Hai passing on that little piece of care he receives. It's really moving. Shaped by the caregiving, but outside it too.
Which brings us back to Hai and Grazina. He tells her about the job interview.
And she has this feeling, this hope for him.
Yeah, this really personal optimism, even while the radio's talking about troop withdrawals in the background.
And that detail, the pizza place banner with the Obama poster, just part of the town's fabric.
That ending scene captures that fragile hope theme so well.
Yeah, in these specific personal moments, people can feel like maybe the worst was over, like Grazina does about the job.
Even when the bigger picture is uncertain, hope lives in those small connections.
Absolutely.
So this deep dive into Chapter 3 really shows us that blend. The tough realities, the gentle routines, and just the quiet power of showing up, moment by moment.
Yes, exactly. It reveals how these smallest acts, care, observation, just being present, they aren't just duties. They are profoundly life-changing.
Not just for the person receiving care.
But for the caregiver, too. That's where real connection, real resilience is forged. In those ordinary, often overlooked moments, showing up is the thing.
So here's something for you to consider as you go about your day. What small acts of care, maybe unseen or unremarked upon, are shaping the lives around you? Or maybe even your own life?